Welcome everybody. My name's Dan Rawls and I'm so excited. I woke up at 3:40 this morning. I was so excited I knew y'all were coming. I don't know who all was coming, but I knew somebody was coming. So I'm just very, very excited about launching Trustegrity. I'm going to tell you the story today. Everybody's going to have a chance to speak and introduce yourself. And I want to introduce my friend Mark Field. Mark is the Vice President of the Knoxville Chamber Partnership. I call Mark the mayor of Knoxville because he literally is in the perfect position for what he's doing. And Mark called me over 15 years ago when he took that role of becoming the Vice President of the Chamber. Said, hey, I've heard about you. We need to go to lunch. And we have just built a friendship. He is just a confidant for me, just a trusted advisor for me. And I'm just humbled to be able to associate with someone at his level. And he came to support me. He came to meet y'all and see who was in the room. And that's a pretty big deal for me, that friendship. I called him 3 weeks ago, and he says, I'll be there. And so, Mark, thank you. He actually has a meeting with the mayor at 8:30 today, so that's a pretty big deal that he came here. But I'm going to ask him to share a few words just before he has to leave. But I kind of want to give a quick overview. Mark, just kind of raise your hand and give me 5 minutes before you got to go. Okay. And then I'll turn it over to you just to share your insight about the community and maybe how this could tie into that. So welcome to the very first Trustegrity meeting here in our city, in our state. This is the 8th state that this organization is in as of today. And that's a pretty big deal. So I work for a company out of Memphis, Tennessee, the Juice Plus Company. It's a $17 billion company. I've been with them for 31 years this month. And I started a little organization here in Knoxville in June of 1994. I ran entrepreneur groups. And 5 years later, that became the largest organization in the world, #1 in its field in 7 countries. And I stepped away from that over 2 years ago. And I always kind of wanted to connect after doing that for a long time. I always wanted to just rub shoulders with higher level people. And some of those level people are in the room today. And I'm going to talk about that for a few minutes. But Trustegrity, my story is I learned about this organization just 6 weeks ago. A friend of mine called me, David Alexander in Atlanta. And he and I ran entrepreneur groups. Between both of us, we had over 265 entrepreneur groups in multiple states. And he's about 6 years younger than me, way smarter than me. He's just a great guy. And he said, what are you doing next week? And I said, well, the water's cold here, and I can't ski there yet, so what you got? And he said, would you get on a plane and come to Las Vegas and meet me? I'm going to go to a couple meetings next week. And you don't do that for someone that you don't trust and respect. And 5 days later, I'm on a plane, and I went to 3 Trustegrity meetings in 3 days with David. And then he asked me to go to San Diego for him as a favor, and I went to 2 more. And what I saw was above average people wanting to do above average things. That's what I saw. 3 of the 5 groups I went to met at law firms. And I was impressed by that because it wasn't a Shoney's or Marie Callender's type setting. This was upper scale, and I was super impressed with it. And the mantra of this organization is confide, connect, and collaborate with the right people. And I just got chills. I'm just an average guy, and I just felt for years I wanted to be able to sit in Delta Comfort Plus and Delta First Class because I'm a coach guy, and that's just me. And I never really felt like I could rub shoulders with those kind of people, but I found it. I found it in Trustegrity, and I'm so excited to bring this here, and I'm glad that you came to hear the story and the journey. And where's Mark Morrell? Mark and I go way back. I met Mark at Calvary Baptist Church through a good friend of mine. We've known each other for 30 years. 30 years I've known Mark. And when I started that first entrepreneur group, it was Mark and a guy named Don Ball. How many of you know Don Ball? Yeah, like 80% of the room knows Don Ball. That's the kind of influencer he is. His company's been around over 35 years. And I sat at Cracker Barrel Cedar Bluff with Mark and Don, and they were the only ones that cared about me, I guess, that showed up. And I said, I'm about ready to build something that's going to be big. It's going to be massive. It's going to be huge. And our state broke all the records. We were the 13th state for that organization. It was in 12 other states. And so I called Mark 5 days ago and I said, would you please come? Because it's 1994 all over again. Would you just come be present? But I want to tell you that this guy right here, he is the best networker I have ever met in my life. And no, I don't run around saying that to a different audience. I've never said that about anybody other than you, Mark. He'll introduce himself, but that's the caliber of people in the room. It's about, some of it's about who you know, but it's also about who knows you, right? And, you know, networking is a grossly overused word. How many of you would agree with that? Like, everybody thinks they're networking. Where's John? John said, John, what'd you say? You're the only commercial
real estate broker that even tries to do it in town, seems like.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's interesting because everybody thinks they're networking. And I'm going to close the meeting today. I'm going to close our event. The very last thing I'm going to share with you, it's a thought process called decide to connect. And when you make a decision that you want to connect with the right people, if you find the right vehicle to connect with the right people, massive things can happen for you in your business. And I know that. Folks, I have helped hundreds of people that make 6 figures a year in their business because of some of the introductions that I introduce those people. And I see the Facebook groups. I see the introductions. I see the transactions. And you know what, Steve? I've had a chance to step back from that. And there's nothing more that just blesses my soul to see that I have made a huge impact in the lives of hundreds and hundreds of people. And many of them have a residual income because of that. I think I gave you one introduction a few years ago, a little company called State Farm. You know, it's just me. It's who I am. You know, I've just been blessed to be a conduit to connect people. I do it personally. I do it professionally. Some people tell me I should be a personal matchmaker. I said, no, I just do that in the business world. But I absolutely just exude the enthusiasm of what this is all about. So, Rebecca, do you have an agenda? Please say yes.
I do, yes. I have the first page now. Okay,
could you do us a favor? Everybody grab your agenda. Could you read the mission statement right below networking? The mission statement. You have the first page or second page? Okay. Do you see it? Right there. We are.
Welcome to Trustegrity. We are the preeminent membership community of entrepreneurs, professionals, and trusted advisors dedicated to each other's success. Trustegrity provides a platform for connecting, confiding, and collaboration. We are passionate about deep professional relationships built on trust and integrity.
So, I love this because it's trust combined with integrity, if that makes sense. And it's smaller groups, deeper connections, higher level relationships. Does that make sense? You know, a lot of people just go to all these networking things and it's just the blind leading the blind. They're shuffling business cards. We don't even pass business cards at meetings. And I did that for a long time. And I think there's a time and a place to do that. And I still encourage people to do that. But in our structured monthly meetings, we don't really schlep business cards around. That's not our intent. Has anybody ever pulled out a business card and handed it to you and you're like, whoa, ma'am, I'd never asked you for your card? See, it's about learning the right thing and how to do it. What I would say is Marcia, excuse me, do you have a couple of business cards? Or do you have a business card? And while she's reaching in her purse or her pocketbook and she's pulling out a card, I said, in fact, if you could give me 2, one for me to keep and maybe one for me to pass on to somebody else. I'd love to exchange cards with you. Do you see the approach there? See, it's all in the approach and learning how to do it. And this thing called connecting and connections, everybody thinks they're good at connections. How many of you are on social media? and you get friend requests and connection requests and all that, let me give you a little tip here, right here. Okay, this would just be me. The first thing is, I would highly recommend you get with Jim Johnson. So Jim is in the video business. He'll introduce himself. But I would encourage you, because somebody taught me this 8 years ago on Facebook. And Facebook was this big back then. And anybody that connected with me on Facebook, I made a video one time, professional video, and I sent it individually to anybody that ever sent me a friend request. And I'm about ready to make one for LinkedIn. That's a different way to connect, isn't it? Versus just adding all these connections. See, it's really about deeper connections, and I love Trustegrity, and here's why. It's a once-a-month meeting. We only meet once a month, right? How many of you are impressed by that? And be honest, how many of you came today because you heard it's only once a month? Right? We just live in a different day and age. You know, it's time. We all have the same 168 hours in a week, but what I saw credible people that were passionate about this. And it was pretty amazing about Trustegrity. So, Roger, could you tee up one of those videos? I want to share that while Mark's still here. Listen to this right here.
Hi, my name is Paul Andrews, and I am the group chair for the original Trustegrity group here in Scottsdale, Arizona. My business is commercial real estate, and I'm a broker agent with KW Commercial, Cook Commercial Partners, and I sell triple net leased investments. I have been a group chair, once again, with Trustegrity for 7 years, since the day of its inception. And I've been here this long because it is a group that not only fosters long-term relationships, but also friendships as well. Many people in the group are not only my go-to business advisors, but they are also very good friends of mine as well. And I wouldn't see myself ever joining any other networking group out there.
Okay, let's show the other one real quick.
Hi, I'm Tony Carrozza. My business is called.
You know, there have been famous moments in impeachment. There are famous moments in impeachment as we've gone forward. There are famous lines.
I love Trustegrity.
Let me start that over.
Yeah, start that over.
Yeah, that would be great.
Oh, this is old chairman now.
Sorry.
Hi, I'm Tony Carrozza. My business is called High Performance Sales Coaching. And I've been a member of Trustegrity for about 2 years now, and I'm actually the chair of the group. The reason I love Trustegrity is because of what it brought to me after leaving corporate life. I had gotten very used to having a group of people and peers around me, whether it was the executive staff or my own sales staff, where we worked together and really germinated great ideas, a lot of creativity, shared best practices. And so coming into Trustegrity, it gave me that experience back now that I could apply to my own small business.
Fantastic. So the first video, David met that gentleman 2 weeks ago. And so it's kind of like David, the CEO, my friend, he just bought this company, okay? He ran across this company. He runs a high-level coaching franchise organization called High Achievers. And he ran across this, and the guy wanted to sell him a franchise. He goes, well, I've looked at your model. He says, how about if I just take over the whole company and you can retire? And then David called me. And so David and I have kind of gone around the country, and we're visiting the groups because we want to find out that people have been on the team 7 years. I mean, we're in freshman orientation, and we were running it, right? And we're new. But there's people like that have been part of this for 6, 7, going on 8 years. That's pretty impressive. I mean, the company has traction, and you know it's been around for 8 years next year, and here we are. And so one of the requirements of this organization is we look for people that have been in their industry for at least 5 years. You won't find someone that's new in business. You know, there's those organizations that are out there for that. You know, someone that decided to go sell whatever they're doing in their career, a second, third career for them. They've been doing it for a year and a half. They're not a good fit here. This is people that are a lot more seasoned. Tim, you've been speaking professionally for
30 years.
30 years, okay? Started when he was 20. And so we'll hear from Tim. But that's really the only requirement. There's only one rule that this organization has, and the rule is that we ask that you attend 9 out of 12 meetings in a year. That's not a huge commitment, right? And you can go, when you travel, you can go visit other trust integrity groups. Okay? I went to San Diego 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago today, I went to San Diego. I've only been there once in my life. I walked into a trust integrity group. Like 3 people opened their, I want to say Rolodex. I'm showing my age. But like, they stayed after the meeting and said, how can we help you? Who do you need to meet in our community? You've contributed so much in 5 to 7 minutes of speaking at our meeting. I said, I'm just a guest. I didn't, y'all just asked me to share something. That's a pretty good feeling to know when you're part of a thought leader community connecting at a higher level, that you have instant credibility and you can tap into that market. Isn't that kind of cool? I mean, I feel blessed about that. And you can do that. And so our organization is frictionless. It's so simple to do this. The investment, people invest on a monthly basis. We asked you to commit for a year, but you pay on a monthly basis. There's no like major strings attached. And the reason we ask you to commit for a year in the beginning is we don't want you to try it out 2 or 3 times and quit and drop out like it's January and you joined a health club, because it's not going to work for you. It's about longevity. And I can just tell you publicly, because Jim's videoing this, we'll save this video, I will be with this organization double-digit years. And I'm going to come back and watch that video in over 10 years. That I publicly committed to a group of thought leaders that I said, that's a pretty big deal for me. See, now I can't quit, Catherine. I think I'm committed that I would publicly...
Oh, you're committed, all right.
Yeah, that she's like, you're here. I'm here, Dan, because of you. And yeah, you're committed. But that's a big deal and an honor for me to say that. And I'm not one of those guys that bounces around. I've been in the same business for quite a while. So another thing about this organization is I feel like it's a missing piece to the puzzle for entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. And Mark and I talked about this 3 weeks ago. And what little I told him in 7 minutes, he said, Dan, I'm excited you're bringing that to our community because we need that. I mean, he's like the head guy at the Chamber of Commerce. And there's a time and a place for what they do. And I've never really felt like I could rub shoulders with the premier partner level people. And that's just the truth. And he's told me, you're not, Dan, you're not there. That's hard to hear, but I admitted it first. He just verified that for me. So it's kind of like the right connections, the right advice. Trust Integrity is like a group of trusted advisors, if you will. Confidants. There's things that will be shared in a room like this that will happen in a smaller group that wouldn't happen if there was 40 or 50 people. Are y'all with me? Can you understand that? And it's kind of like going through business cards, and there's certain people that I can teach you all day long how to reconnect with people, because some of you are here today and I haven't talked to you in 10 years. And the fact that I called you, you came. I mean, I'm impressed and blessed enough that you would come, and you trust me enough, Steve, to just show up here. Because we haven't really seen each other, been in each other's space in about 7 or 8 years. And that's huge for me. And Tim, same thing. 30 years in his career. So very, very impressed by that. But that's just a quick overview. Mark, I'd like for you just to share something about the community and what's going on with the chamber, and then what little bit you've heard about me, just share with everybody why you think they should do this, if you think there's a fit. And if you were invited here today, this isn't let's invite 50 and let me hope 10 of you do this. Okay? You were invited here today because this is an exclusive membership community. And I mean, I'm really serious when I say that. We don't just invite everybody to come to an organization like this. So, Mark?
Yeah. So,
stand right here. He needs you to be in the
First
video.
of all, thank you guys for having me this morning. And, I'm excited that you guys decided to
show up and be a part of this initial meeting and this launch for Dan. First of all, I'll go back. We're not trying to make a mutual admiration society out of this, but Dan was telling you the truth. When I came to the chamber, I started kind of going around and saying, who are the people I need to know? Who are the people I need to be networking with? And his name kept coming up, and I thought, well, I had always heard in the few weeks prior to me meeting with Dan that B&I was a competitor of the Knoxville Chamber. I found out that that was not at all the case, that actually that organization was very complementary to what we did, and we developed a collaborative relationship with each other that I felt compelled to tell people that they should join an organization that he was a part of, even sometimes to the exclusivity of us. There were some people that should have been a part of that networking organization that shouldn't be members of the chamber at that point. So I would say if you've only got a certain amount of money, you may need to spend that money with them instead of us. That's how much I believed in what they were doing, and I was sincere about that. And so I would go to other national conferences with chambers, and I would say, who are some of your competitors? And they would call that name. And I would say, they are not your competitors. They're your collaborators. They're the people you ought to be working with. They're out doing the same thing that you're trying to do on a daily basis. So let me just say this. If you're not a member of the chamber, it's fine. Everybody doesn't need to be a member of the chamber. There are some people that can use the chamber to their advantage, and we can be a resource to them, and that's great, and we want to be that. But you don't have to be a member of the chamber to get that from us. We're out trying to lift all the boats and lift the tide so that all the boats can float. And for some of you, you'll want to come along beside us and be an investor and be a part of that. For some of you, you won't, and that's okay. We still want your boat to float. We still want it to go well. We still want everybody to be doing well. So that's why I'm excited about this, because this is economic development. This is what's happening in our community that makes our community go. Y'all think that it's us out there trying to work with the big companies like the Pilots and the Bush Brothers, and it is, and those folks are important, but this is where the real economic development happens. I would rather each one of you hire a person than us go out and find a company that has 50 employees, because that's organic, and that's real, and it stays around. And I don't know that we've ever helped John, have brought somebody to town that has done business with John, but John has done business with a lot of people that have grown their companies in our community organically, and that's important. That's where real economic development is. So we have a new CEO, and I'm telling you, his approach to what we've been trying to do over the last several years is very different. He's more focused on what's here than he is about going out and attract a shiny new company that's coming to town. We've spent inordinate amounts of money, time, effort going out trying to attract people and haven't done a great job at it, just to be completely honest with you. If you've looked around at some other communities, those communities have done better than Chattanooga's attracted better than we have. Certainly Spartanburg, Greenville's attracted better than we have. There are a lot of communities around here that people would say, well, why can't we do what they're doing? It really doesn't matter, because we're going to focus here first. We're going to try to build the companies that are here. And a part of what you're doing is going to make that possible. So I want to be your biggest cheerleader. I don't know that I'll drop into the group. I may. It sounds pretty exciting to me. This sounds different than what he used to do. And I want to rub shoulders with people that are decision makers and people that can make a difference. And so this may be something I'm a part of as well. I have about 3 or 4 years left in my career, and I want to see this community do well. This is important to me. I'm looking at you in the eyes because I want you to know I'm sincere about that. I need you guys to be successful. We need you guys to be successful to be able to help this tide rise. And so anything I can do to help you guys, I want to support this guy, love him, really appreciate what he's done in the past. Millions of dollars have happened in this community from an economic development business perspective because of his guidance for people. And I appreciate that. And I hope that you guys do the same thing. I know you will. Anything that I can do to help you, you call me. Mark, I saw you at the Trustegrity meeting. Don't worry about being a member of the chamber. That'll come. If you decide you want to be someone who comes along beside us, I keep using that term because I think people join the chamber. I don't need you to join the chamber. I need you to come along beside us and be an investor if that works for you. But I don't need you to do that just because you think you need to be a member of the chamber. We want to get away from membership and talk about investors, people that are investing and get a return on that investment for what they do. Our new CEO is dead on that. I'm just telling you, we're gonna get away from that, pushing people to join the chamber. And so, good for you guys this morning. Let me know how I can help you. I'm gonna leave a couple of cards for Dan if you need them. Again, any resources you need, any questions you've got. I'll use this as an example. You know, it's really bothered me in the past that we haven't been able to help guys like John better. And I say that to you. We haven't been as collaborative with guys like him as we should have. And so I just publicly am going to say those days are over. And so for guys like you that are really out, heartbeat of what's going on in bigger commercial organizations and try to work, we need to work more closely with guys like him. And so I would say that to y'all as well. So Dan, thank you. I hope you guys do well. I'm going to an Opportunity Zone meeting. I think Derek's got to go there too. John, you
Don't pass.
yeah. So anyway, I've got to go to that meeting. I hate to leave, but thank you.
Let me share one thing before you leave, Mark. And thank you for your kind words, sir. It means a lot to me. We're going to cover this a little bit later, but one thing that I didn't say that just members are excited about this component of TrustEgrity is there's a mastermind component to our monthly meeting. And the topic today, and then it's kind of an open forum, you'll see that later on, but Mark, the topic today is what is the best piece of business advice you have ever been given, and how have you used it to either run or grow your business? And so I want y'all to be thinking about that, because I need for some of y'all seasoned people to be sharing that with everybody in the room. David, we talked last night, the CEO, people pay thousands of dollars for that type of advice. And what happens is every December we email out the topic for the next 12 months for the monthly mastermind meetings for each group to discuss. How many of you like that as a component of what we're doing? That's a huge piece of that, and I didn't have a chance to say that. The last thing is I'm going to explain after we do the introduction something called Partner Pair Up. We're going to take 5 minutes in the agenda. Everybody's going to pair up with someone they're sitting next to, and then I'm going to explain what we're going to do. And so it's different what we do every time, and that's what keeps it fresh in this organization. I mean, last thing, David we had a nationwide Zoom call with all the chairs that run the groups yesterday, and it was so exciting. David's been to 16 groups, and he has 15 different agendas in front of him that he's seen. I mean, we're taking notes. We're learning from people that are just, it's just incredible what, in a little amount of time, what's happened. But here, David and I have 48 years experience doing this kind of thing together. It's going to be big. So, Mark, thank you so much.
I want that piece of advice. I love sharing this with people. My dad, when I was 12 years old, said something to me, and when he said it to me, I looked at him and I thought, what is he talking about? He said, the laws of nature never let you go unrewarded. And I thought, what in the world is he talking about? Spiritually, for me now, I understand that better. That you give and it'll be given unto you. Second down, press, running over. But that is really true on a secular level and on this kind of level. If you give, it'll come back to you. The laws of nature don't let you go unrewarded. So that's what this is probably about, is giving and then letting it come back to you. So have a good day.
Bless you, friend.
Well,
I just get chills just hearing that. And I love that Mutual Edification Club or something. That was kind of funny. But so, Jim, I don't know if you want to keep that rolling just for the introductions. And nobody really has to stand up. We're just kind of, the way the meeting flows is it just flows. And so everybody can just kind of remain seated. But the next part of the agenda is, these are self-introductions. And because of the number of people here, we're gonna limit it on time. And I just need for you to respect that. If you think you're talking too much, you probably are. So just finish that sentence. And, just out of respect for everybody's time, because we we do respect everybody's time, and this, this is a structured agenda a little bit. It's pretty loose. We're not all rigid about that, but I want to say something about the size of the group, so I don't forget to do that. The size of the group, no group will ever be bigger than 25. In fact, the model is 20 to 25. That's because after that, we just feel like you lose that personal touch of what we're trying to do to connect, confide, and collaborate. So, a solid number is 18. An above average number, like excellence, is 20. Anything above 20, 21 to 25 is superb. That's the name of this group, let me just tell you, is Platinum Circle. And B&I had its top 3% producers was Platinum Circle. That's Lacey's business with her husband, Platinum Circle Producers. And so we discussed that. That's the name of our group. That's our first group. So self-introductions. This is the model for this. What we'd like to do is just share your name, what you do. Again, no one really has to stand up. Your name, what you do, what differentiates you, and what's one resource you need. Your name, your profession, what differentiates you, and what is one resource you need. So, Jim, how about if you start us? And let's just go around the internal table, and then Daniel will bounce to you for the external.
Sounds great. Jim Johnson, I own a video production company. I travel internationally. What makes me different is I like to say I go where most producers don't go. That could be in a ditch, out of an airplane, and out of a helicopter. That's what I do. Companies I work for, large corporations, from documentaries to film production and large corporate events. That's it.
Tim Richardson, professional speaker, been doing this, as Dan said, for 30 years. I think that probably differentiates me from a lot of people. I've been full-time all that time. I don't hang out of planes, though, so I hang out in planes. And I have lived in this community area for about 17 years and done a very, very poor job of this kind of stuff. Most of my work is out of town, so that'd probably be it.
CSP, that differentiates you. That puts you in the top what?
About 10%.
Top 10% of every professional speaker in the world. How long have you had that designation?
Since '97.
I know it's about better than he is. So.
That's called Certified Speaking Professional.
Awesome.
Jimmy McKinnon with Smart Home Technologies. That's who we are. What we do is anything low voltage. We specialize in customized homes and commercial applications with anything low voltage, and Smart Home Technologies is kind of encompassing, but we do surveillance, we do home automation, security, fire systems. What differentiates us is we provide more of a concierge, customized service for our clients, and just, we're not looking really to be hired by anybody and everybody. If we can provide information and educate people on what they really need for their home or for their commercial application, then we get satisfaction in that.
Fantastic.
Cool, I'm Rob Brown. Look Inside. I'm a business improvement specialist. I've worked with about 100 companies all over the world in the last 20 years. I absolutely love to learn, but I guess what really differentiates me is I didn't use the word consultant because I really, actually really care about people, the clients I work with, whether it's a home business or whether it's a multi-billion-dollar company that makes jets. It's all about the same to me as far as serving others and having fun doing that.
Nice to know you. Hey, good morning, everybody. My name's Lonnie Ray. I am a podcast host. Midlife My Ass. I'm just getting started. It's on here if you want to check out the podcast.
It is.
Yeah, it's a hoot.
Yeah,
I've had
awesome.
7 shows. I love helping companies to stand out on podcasts so you can reach the world, to speak your truth in no uncertain terms. I also love to help people get their books published. A single 90-minute interview, it's one and done. So if you're looking to establish instant credibility, authority, and rapport, I can help you do that. What differentiates me is I'm a podcast guest trainer, not a host trainer. There's a big difference, and I can really help you to shine where you should be. What I'd like to do is to meet other companies that want to stand out with their brand out. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Marsha White with Gratitude Speak. I'm a client experience coach. Why is that important? Because as the big boys have known since in the 1990s, Dell even appointed a client experience council to see where every piece of the customer journey matters and how to capitalize on that. And I'm passionate about bringing that to small businesses because there's too many solo and entrepreneurs that don't know how important client experience, not just customer service, is. What differentiates me is that I've been doing this so long, I actually embody what I do, and people know me for that. It just took me a while to put a name to it.
Awesome.
One resource that I am looking for is just expanding the network. I've been out of the networking in Knoxville for a little minute, and I'm coming back, so looking forward to reconnecting with some and just connecting with everyone else.
I am Sarai Taylor Roman. I am a portrait photographer. I have fellow status with the Portrait Masters. That's one of 3 in the world, 2 in the US. And what sets me apart is the belief that everyone is beautiful and that we have been created in our creator's image, and my job is to provide tangible proof of that with the photographs I produce. And so what I'm looking for this month is that if you know of any gala or fundraisers that are raising money for, for the event, I would love to donate an experience at my studio for about $2,000 to $3,000. So if there's any company that you would love to help them raise money, I'd love to donate something this month. So.
My name is Lacey Panetta. I'm with Coldwell Banker Wallace & Wallace Realtors Platinum Circle Real Estate Team. I am part of a husband and wife team. So what sets us apart is you get 2 realtors for the price of 1. We work really well together. We like to create an exceptional quality experience for our clients. Everyone matters. You never know if that $150,000 client is going to lead you to a $3 million referral. That has been the situation with us recently. So everyone gets treated equally. We see their value as a person, not as a number. And we are ranked in the top 10% of Coldwell Banker teams in the state of Tennessee. We have been multi-million-dollar producers year over year. And what we are looking for right now are those people who are afraid of listing their property in the wintertime. We have been doing really good this year, and the market is at a 15-year high. So we've been listing a lot of properties lately and getting a lot of people ready to get prepared for springtime through the winter if they are not ready for that. So if they have any questions about that, send them my way.
My name is Mithil Patel. I'm an attorney. I've been with General Knox Law as a partner for about 12 years now. We were formerly known as Hyman Carter and Patel. And ironically enough, effective January 1st, 2020, I'm actually starting my own firm. And so I was writing my vision and mission statement yesterday, and the bulk of it was about building client relationships that last years and years to come. I know everyone in here has probably dealt with attorneys, and I know I'm not probably going to be the first one, but my goal is with the clients that I bring into this new firm that I'm the last attorney they want to work with. And just building, our profession's been joked about over and over again, and it's just to bring the integrity back to the profession, be that trusted advisor that people can rely on, and just have a different approach in that sense, and do business, law, family, estate planning, probate, and I've done a lot of civil litigation, so that's kind of the goal of this new firm, but with a different approach. And as far as a resource that I need, going into this new chapter, it would be great. I love what I've heard so far from everybody and who's in this room so far, so just have more people like that in my life, because I think it defines who we are, is the relationships we form, so pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I'm Catherine Schrader, and my company is now called Strategic Tax and Business Services. Some of the faces I see knew me under my ex's last name, hence the name change, but also it better defines what I do. I spent the last 40 years being known as an accountant. That's not a comfortable name for me because I am the most unique accountant in the country, according to a number of people. And that's what makes me different is I will boldly say what no other accountant would say to you because my job is not to yes you or tell you all about the numbers. My job is to tell you how those numbers can be used in your business. It's you go to the doctor takes a blood panel. It's not about the 4 vials of blood they've sucked out of you as a vampire. It is about what that panel tells you. And that's what accounting should be. And that is a very unique approach for my industry. We also aren't known for the best personalities. I actually have one. I am known by my clients more as a coach because that's how I work with them. We do a lot more than accounting work. One of my goals over the 2020 year is to do a workshop or presentation once a month outside of Knox County. So you are a great resource of advice, but that is the other thing we do is we do not territorialize our information. We believe as a business owner, you need to know the things that make your gut the best judge you have when that opportunity pops up and you have to react in that moment. So that is our target market. It's startups, entrepreneurs, and people who are really in a dynamic state of business. Thanks.
She's very well connected in lots of different circles, so.
Thanks, Dan.
Good morning, everybody. Roger McGee. I'm the branch manager here at People's Home Equity. We're a mortgage lender. What we do is help people buy homes and refinance homes. What we really do here at People's Home Equity is help people achieve a dream, overcome their fears. Many of you may have gone through life battles, life situations, or know someone that has, and they've been beat up by credit, life circumstances, medical situations. And so what we are really, in a lot of ways, is rehab for home ownership. One of the things that got me in this business, my first deal that I ever did was a credit repair deal for a very wealthy person. And I learned during that time that everybody is salvageable. Everybody deserves a second chance. I deserve 20 chances, right? We all deserve multiple chances. So that's what we do here. I've been doing this for about 25 years, and I just love to support my team here, and I also originate some. The thing that I'm looking for is, like someone else in here said, just to be around another group of people that can help me rise my boat, as someone said earlier. That's exactly the resource that I'm looking for.
Awesome. Daniel?
Sure. Hello, my name is Daniel Head. I'm a financial advisor, wealth manager. Our business is Head Investment Partners. We have 6 people here over in the Hardin Valley area. When you were talking about the Rolodex, I just say I've been in business now 38 years, so I'm really old. It's been a great career. I think some of the things that makes us very different in the financial world. Many of you are familiar with financial advisors. I worked for the major wirehouses for a long time, whether it was UBS, some of you might remember the names of Paine Webber that have gone by and so forth, Wells Fargo. That industry is really changing. In our industry now, it's pretty much they don't want you to manage money. In fact, Wells Fargo came to my office and our team one day and said, you know, we really don't want you managing money. We would prefer that you give the money to us, we'll put it into our products, and you go find the next asset. That never said, well, me or my team. And so we went independent several years ago and said investment partners. And so we don't cookie cutter anybody. We really pay an awful lot of attention to risk management, and that's just hoping the market goes up.
Hello, Lauren Riddick. Honored to be here. Great job. Thank you, Dan. And I understand why you're so excited about your friend at the Chamber. Amazing. And Roger, great host. Roger's a brother of mine, friend. I first came just at the initial thing a couple of weeks ago, and I did that just because Roger said you need to be here. I'm a mortgage banker, 5th generation East Tennessee guy, and I would say that if you need anything on the forward end, forward loan, regular mortgage loan, Roger is amazing. My practice is both forward and reverse. My passion is the reverse mortgage industry. A lot of people don't understand that. I wanted nothing to do with it, but I am a huge believer now. I have a passion for helping seniors You know, the reality of it is there's 10 to 12,000 seniors turning 62 every day. There's over $7 trillion in senior equity that's not being used as a retirement vehicle for these seniors. So it's not the program that you think it is. It's something I'm very passionate about. So how can you help me? Anybody that will do better than I did. For the first 13 years, I had my fingers in my ears and my eyes closed. I wanted nothing to do with it. And in fact, if I ask everybody to play team right now, and I made you answer, a reverse mortgage is positive or negative, you're probably going to say negative. And then I'm going to say, well, share with me why. You're either going to say something crazy that you have no idea what you're talking about, or you're going to go, I don't know, it just sounds that way. You know? And in fact, in the last 12 seconds, I would say, if I ask you a question, especially our real estate partners, hey, if you've got a senior client that has 11 years left before they pay Wells Fargo off, who owns their house, them or the bank? What would you say? Yeah, everybody says the bank. And we're all wrong. Because I'll ask you real estate, when's the last time you had the bank sign the purchase contract? Right? Or when is the last time you had to get your client to go call the bank and get permission to do a home improvement need? Because it's the bank's home. No. There's no difference in ownership between the forward and the reverse. And the reason it's not too good to be true is FHA pays the freight if the bank loses it. So there's all kinds of stuff, but it is an honor to be here. Great energy in the room. I'll be leaving just a few minutes getting on a plane, so I won't be leaving because I'm not happy. This is a great place.
Dr. Jake Parrish for Victory Health Center, also Victory Health Radio. We have 4 stations that run 5 shows. We have international shows. It's in about 20 countries. The main purpose of the center is to change the way that people do their health care and change their health care. We started 8 years ago. Knoxville was the most medicated city in the world. We were taking 14 medications daily per person. It's taken us 8 years. We're the 3rd most medicated city in Tennessee now. We partner with big companies like Costco to bring in organic food. One of the reasons that they have so much organic stuff and just one of the cleanest Costco's in the world is because we have patients that consistently just ask for them to change. For me, the best thing for me is to help me to put me in front of a group of 30 people, 100 people, so I can share that actually people do have a problem, that taking drugs and not having a good lifestyle is actually a bad way to do life and ultimately leads to sickness and disease. So thank you for having me, Roger. Thank you. I know several people in here. I love you guys. I'm going to be leaving too early. Once again, not because I don't like you guys. I've got to be at work at 8:30, and we're running late. Thank you for having me here today.
Awesome. Matt Cunningham with Matt Cunningham State Farm. We're located in the Rocky Hill community, if you know where that's at, right off of North Shore Drive. We've been in business for roughly 11 years. As you know, there's a State Farm guy or gal on every corner, or a personal lines insurance everywhere. It's probably one of the largest advertising, I would say, in the nation right now is insurance. But what people don't realize is we all operate independently and differently. So what makes us different is my team and I, we're accessible. That's the biggest thing. Most guys are going to shuffle you off to a 1-800 number. They love to write your business, and then you're just another number. We do things differently. I want to do business with people that I like, and we can actually interact. So I give my cell number out to my clients. They text me in a time of need, or if they just have a question. You know, if you got a teenage driver, I get phone calls all the time. What do we do? That's the biggest thing. My daughter just ran off the road. What do we do? I was at Dollywood last week. My old ex-neighbor called me. His wife ran off the road. What do we do? Brand new car, just bought it 2 days ago. So the biggest thing I say is we're accessible. So not just myself, my whole team. So you can reach us anytime. We give advice. That's the biggest thing. I see people, everyone has risk in this room. It's how you manage those risks. Like Dan said, it's all about managing your risk. It's the same thing on the insurance side. You got to watch the back end. So good referral for us is pretty much anyone that has risk and cares about that risk. That's the biggest problem. I don't like doing business with people that don't care about the risk. People that care about their family, they care about their well-being. That's the people I want to do business with.
My name is Leland Murphy. I'm mainly here because Dan asked me to come to check it out, but I'm a real estate investor. We have an investment company. We do remodels of houses, and we're slowly getting into development property. So what differentiates me from other realtors is that we try to help you grow your investment portfolio in real estate and try to look at real estate more as an investment property and a return on your income. I guess what I need is just a bigger network. I love networking. I've been networking all my life and didn't really realize it until I started talking to Dan. Dan's been a friend for many, many years. So just try to connect with more people and help them grow their businesses any way possible.
My name is Daniel Rourke. I was SunTrust Bank, now Truist Bank, Truist Financial. I'm a premier banker there. My job is to work with a smaller select group of clients that's more high-end, more net worth. My resources that I can actually use are two people right there, the attorney and the accountant. What differentiates us is I do work with a smaller select group of clients that are usually more affluent, more assets. We do more financial planning. And I like to have resources for accountants because these wonderful tax laws change all the time. And anything I could be saying could be wrong. Also what works with me, because it is a smaller group, it's more one-on-one. Usually with my first meeting with a client, I've had it on multiple times. They were surprised that we didn't talk anything about products or anything. It's like, I don't even know you yet. How can I even make a recommendation on anything yet without getting to know what's going on with you, your goals? Let's go work on that and build on those relationships. So.
Steve Sugg, Sales Managed Solutions. We're a 36-year-old sales consulting company. We diagnose the need inside a company, and sometimes that company needs sales training. Sometimes they need to hire better salespeople. Well, all the time they need to hire better salespeople. And we teach them a process to do that. And then once the salespeople are on board, they need coaching. So sales training, coaching salespeople, learning how to recruit salespeople, and we have customers locally and all across America. And we need capacity. So we have, in the past couple of years, have launched a certified advisor program where we are teaching other independent contractors to do what we do. So that's an area of growth for us.
Excuse me one second, Mark. Jake, I'm going to have, this is a sign-in sheet. If you'll just print legibly but see the information, because we actually do something called a reconnect, and there's an action step that's going to happen in about 20 minutes as a result of the way the sheet's lined out. So Jake, if I want to make sure everybody, I know 2 people have to leave early, start, if you'll sign that. Just, you know, if you have a legal pad or somebody next to you, just kind of borrow something to write on, that would be great. Mark?
Hey, my name is Mark Morrell. I'm in the technology business, the ever-confusing technology business, and I focus on the VoIP phone system space, large to enterprise type companies. And what I'm looking for more of is companies that want a white glove treatment, because today there's the joke is, you know, we're the best of the worst because there is no service anymore. So that's what I'm looking for, people that want white glove. But I really wanted to tell a story about Dan. So all those years ago when he brought that, I was in a referral group that I was kind of proud of. I was really proud of, actually. I had to wait to get in that group, and Dan goes, I want to come visit your group. And I was like, yeah, okay. So he comes, visits the group. We walk outside of Shoney's. I go, what do you think? He goes, this group stinks. He said, I was so offended.
He goes, not say that. What do you
We did say that. He said,
that sounds like Dan, he just
said,
doesn't remember.
He said, I'm bringing something to Knoxville that blows this group away. And I was like, yeah, whatever.
Okay. I'm not going to say that today, okay?
Yeah.
I'm seasoned. I'm a lot more wiser. I will
But
not
he
say
was,
that.
Yeah, right.
I'm just really glad it's on recording now.
Oh, and I own it, so that's even that much better.
Today he says this group has challenges too numerous to elaborate on.
That's wisdom right there.
Somebody had the training.
So when he said, hey, I've got something that I'm looking at, and I'm going to bring this to Knoxville, and I'm really excited about it, I was like, hey, why wouldn't I come see it and check it out and see what it's all about? So thanks for the invite.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Plashevis, and I am with Keller Williams, which is a massive global real estate company. So I work out of the Maryville office. Actually, our office is bumping over the line into Alco. We're now going to be in the new corporate area just behind Texas Roadhouse. So I used to be, as Catherine stated, in the tax industry, got out because my heart was more important than your taxes. So it tends to be a little bit stressful, and real estate is just a joy for me. One of the things that I do for my clients, whether residentially or commercially, is to make sure that you get door-to-door service. If there's something going on in your life, I need to know it because it will affect your decisions. When emotion is high, logic is low, and we all know that our purchases, whether residential or commercial, can be influenced by our emotions at times. And so one of the things that I bring to the table with that is being able to walk you off the ledge. I have spent many years in that industry, in the psych industry. I have some certifications with that. So I have found that to be very, very, very advantageous in the real estate industry. Mortgages, sometimes people will not handle things very well when hiccups come up. So one of the things that I'm looking for is more veterans to interact with. And that little fact is that after World War II, 40% of the veterans became business owners and helped the economic development in the communities and the counties and cities in which they live. That number has diminished to 4.3%. So I am consistently looking for more and more veterans to interact with. If you know of somebody, please contact me, get my name, get my number, give me their name, give me their number. These veterans have somewhat disengaged, and so one of the things that I'm hearing is that nobody wants to work with me across every platform, and I trust me when I say I do my homework, I do my research, I've done my due diligence. Veterans are being pushed to the side. When you drop from 40% to 4.3%, it's a massive decline in our engagement with our veteran community. So come next year, I'm in the final stages of putting together a company which will focus specifically on veteran engagement and real estate, and so I'll have more about that probably maybe in February. So thank you.
Tony Parker. I'm a cost savings, I'll say expert guru. What I focus on, what really makes me different there is anybody can source the cheapest, the best, item. What I focus on is not only life cycle, but understanding your business, understanding what you do, and how I can save you not only from a cost savings, a hard cost, but a soft cost. It does no good to save you money on something that, it's going to take you more work, you're going to spend more money in your business, managing it and everything else. So really, unlike anybody else just coming in and looking at cost savings and, oh, well, I can save this, I can get you this widget 10 times cheaper. Let's look at it and understand how you use it, understand how that works in your business, and bring in a solution that not only saves you soft cost savings, which most people don't pay attention on, but save you those hard cost savings, and just focusing on that area. What I'm here for, what I need from you is just to network more. Really I've lived in this community all my life, but I haven't done a great job in networking. That's really it. Thank you guys for letting me be here.
My name's Kyle Baisley. I'm a business attorney, and I say business attorney because my background's pretty broad. I spent about 5 years with a big firm here in town, Baker Donaldson, doing real estate and finance at the height of the recession. So I became somewhat of a bankruptcy expert during that period of time, and became a workout reorganization attorney. Then I spent 5 years as associate general counsel at Pilot Flying J, which caused him to lose his hair when he worked there. Mine went gray. And then in 2016, I went back into private practice with a small firm of Long, Ragsdale, and Waters. And I guess what sets me apart, a few people in here have mentioned giving their cell phone numbers to their clients. That's my primary contact for my clients. It's funny, most attorneys, as Ms. Patel will probably acknowledge, most attorneys don't give their cell phone number. And if they do, they've got 2 cell phones. It's like a burner phone and then their personal phone. Like, I just got 1 phone, and that's how my clients get in touch with me.
That's how we talked yesterday.
We just exchange texts, and I like to be available, being accessible. I think the gentleman here in insurance mentioned being accessible. I mean, if my clients can't get in touch with me, I can't be of any use to them. So the thing that I need at this point, I've got plenty of clients. I'm not looking, I mean, if I'm happy to help whoever. I want to be a better service to my existing clients. And if I can take on new clients and serve them well, then I want to do that. But my purpose in being here is, I'm not a rule of threes kind of guy. If somebody says I need this or that, I go to the person that I would go to myself if I was in that situation. And my clients have varying needs across the board, and I'm kind of their one-stop shop and their go-to. So I want to get to know people in this room and hopefully have a vast network of people to send my clients to when they have various needs.
Who invited you guys? Just curious.
Daniel Head invited me.
Okay. It's just interesting how they knew each other and kind of. So welcome as guests. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. My name is Bill Jacoby. I'm a partner in a firm called Hobbs & Associates. We're an engineering sales company operating in a couple states. I'm in charge of the offices in Knoxville, Johnson City, and Chattanooga. With different, we've got good lines and we take care of our customers. What I'm looking for probably is just to network with other business owners on how to manage the company better and grow.
Morning, everybody. My name is John Haney. I'm a commercial real estate broker with NAI Cole Moore, the largest commercial real estate brokerage here in East Tennessee. I'd like to thank my friend Matt Cunningham for inviting me today. And in case you're all wondering, I did pay Dan and Mark ahead of time, so they dropped my name when the meeting was started. So
it worked.
We'll settle up later. But again, I help people buy, sell, and lease commercial real estate, so I can represent a tenant out there. If somebody wants to go out and rent space for the business, or a buyer who wants to acquire a property, maybe for investment or just for their own business. And then also I work with a lot of sellers and landlords. The difference: the seller wants to sell his building, and landlord wants to have tenants come in and generate income from the property. And that's pretty much what we do. Enjoy doing it, and appreciate the chance to meet you all.
Good morning, guys. My name's Henry Sanchez. I work for Mortgage Investors Group, and I'm one of the lenders. I guess one of the things that differentiates, you guys know what I'm saying.
Sets you apart.
There you go. Sets me apart. I like it. It's that, I mean, I guess
socks. Oh wait.
Aside from the socks. I mean, I was raised in a Hispanic culture, so we like to embrace all the fun. I mean, if you've been to the Dominican Republic, we're all about having fun, and that's kind of what I like to bring to the business culture. I've been into a lot of offices that is just very, I guess, dull and serious and boring. I don't like that. I like to have fun with my clients and make sure that they know they're getting the best service possible. But I care about them as well, and I show them that with what I do. And to me, again, I'm just like the gentleman over here who has, I only have one cell phone. You call me at any time, text me at any time, and I make sure that they know that. A resource for me, honestly, it's you guys, getting to know more people that know what they're doing and have been in the business and in their business for a long time and can help me grow. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Thanks.
My name is Rachel Holcomb. I just joined at Dan's firm at Head Investment Partners. I'm a 401k retirement plan specialist. The reason I'm a 401k retirement plan specialist is because there's a retirement crisis. 1 in 3 Americans has nothing saved for retirement. 2/3 have less than $20,000. So for my clients, for the employers and the participants, I create and design a specific and a strategic 401k program, and then I service it. The goals of this plan are to meet the retirement goals of the employer and the participants to become retirement ready. And that's my passion.
Well, thank you.
Well said.
Awesome.
Good morning, everybody. I'm PFL Derek Furlow Jr., speaker, entrepreneur, and author of the book What's Next? How to Transition Like a Champion. And that book came about from after my years playing at the University of Tennessee. I seen that a lot of guys that came before me and that would come after me didn't know what was next for their life after sports. And I realized there was never a class, a book, course that you can take or read and show you how to take those intangible transferable skills that you learn from playing sports and applying them to life and to business. So since there was not a program for it, I created it. And from that point moving forward, I seen that it was a lot of principles that we learned in sports, whether you played sports or you watch sports, that can apply in life and in business. So now, what makes me unique, I get a chance to speak to people, groups, or teams and show them how to apply these intangible transferable skills that they learn from watching sports that we all adore, how to apply them in life and in business. So I guess what I'm looking for is more opportunities to help locally and serve the teams, groups, individuals, and show them how to take these sports perspectives and principles and apply them in their life and their business to grow their organizations.
Wow, that's fantastic. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Tim shared with me many years ago, he said anytime you address any group, you should always speak or stand when you speak, just because you command a presence in the room of leadership and authority. And that's only just because I'm launching the group. Jim is our chair. He'll be running our monthly meetings. We have a training later on this month with 3 new chairs across the U.S., and David and I will do a Zoom training with them. But it's very informal. Our group it's just very informal. And I understand some people had to leave early. I knew that coming in. But, you know, this will be a standing monthly appointment in your calendar. I mean,
when is it going to be?
The group has decided to meet the second Tuesday of the month. But I did want to throw, excuse me, Thursday. My mistake, sorry. I did want to throw something out. It's not my decision to make this, but the core group, I'd like to ask the core group to stand up. The core group, that we had 2 planning meetings in the last month. Kyle is not here. He is part of it. So people that are in the core group, we came together at Daniel Head's office, and we quite quickly, that was a good call. We knew we were going to outgrow this space. And so Roger, thank you for hosting.
My pleasure.
But these are the people that really pulled today together. It wasn't about me at all. I was just part of the team, and I invited some people to the core group, and so we're going to hear from a few of them in a little bit. But we, us, y'all, they have decided to meet the second Thursday of the month, and that'll be 7:30 a.m. So just to kind of let you know that, thank you all very much. So that's the only reason that I'm standing today, Tim, and thank you guys for being here as speakers, just because I'm kind of facilitating the regular agenda here. Let me just ask you all a question. As we went around the room, and how many of you said to yourself at least one time, hey, I'd like to talk to that person. I need to know. I need some advice. I might have an introduction for that. How many of you did that at least once? Just raise your hand really high. Yeah, that's where it all happens, folks. And one of the things that I want to share with you is there's a difference in networking and connecting. And that's what I'll end the meeting with today. I'm going to just read something short to you. So you definitely want to stay for that, because that will make a profound impact going forward. And it didn't even come from this organization. So we do that each week. They're called self-introductions. The average Trustegrity group will have, on average, about 3 guests per month. Okay, how's that sign-in sheet doing? Is it made in? Are we almost? Who hasn't signed that yet? Okay, so we still have some. We have the Hispanic section over here. They have class every other time.
Dan, excuse me, my apologies. I do have to step out.
Okay.
At 9 o'clock. Appreciate meeting everybody.
Thank you very much.
Can
you sign in just before you leave?
Yeah, I can. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks.
The next part of the agenda is we have something called a member spotlight. And the member spotlight, depending on the size of the group, it could be a 15 to 20 minute presentation where you're going a little bit more in depth. It was exciting for me when I attended that San Diego group. I'll actually send this out. It's on my YouTube channel. I made a little 2-minute video with Mary Beth Kelly, the realtor in the chapter, and she literally, the group referred to her as the mayor of San Diego. How many of you have ever been to San Diego before? Like, it's a big place. And yet, like, I've only been there once, and I walk into this Trustegrity group with 16 people, and I was just humbled by the people that were in the room, just literally just oozing with credibility. There was 3 attorneys in the group. I just got chills. I was like I got invited to this. Like, I don't get invited to things like that. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
And the realtor, her and her partner, they were the speakers. They were the presenters. And I quickly learned that I don't want to live in San Diego because of the cost. And so everybody wants to make money on their house and sell, but the problem is no one has any place to go once they sell their house in San Diego. And it was really just refreshing. She actually didn't give a PowerPoint. She handed it out and referenced it later. But this isn't about selling to the group. It's about educating. The State Farm agent in the group has owned an agency for 40 years. I mean, there was just so much credibility. And then they had a little open discussion about, hey, what are some professions we really need to have? And it was exciting for me because the State Farm agent and then the attorney, one of the attorneys in the room, they were at the opposite end of the table. They said separately, they said, hey, we used to have one of those social media guru expert people in the group. Like, we really need that. And then the other one said, we had a graphic design print firm. So how many of you know someone in one of those 2 businesses, social media marketing or graphic design printing? And so I would just edify that and pass that baton. Our group needs that. If y'all could throw this out on social media, invite them to come to our group and for our January event. I just wanted to share that. So, but the member spotlight will happen. That happens at every agenda, and so everybody has an opportunity to speak. And we kind of share in that. The next part of the agenda is I'm going to tee up something for y'all for January for the next meeting. I'm just going to give you a little carrot here. It's called Partners Pair Up, and it's a 5-minute segment. I don't have time to do it today because I have 9 more people here today than I thought was going to be here. Okay? I mean, you can see the size of the room. We had to pull in some extra chairs. Good problem to have, right? Yeah. The largest Trustegrity meeting in the history of the organization in 8 years is today. And like David said, you better call me when it's over, and because he's anxious to know. It's called Partner Pair Up, and there's a lot of strategy that goes behind what we do. So how important are regular introductions and connections to your business? Let me just ask you all that. Extremely? Very? Vital. Vital?
Life or death.
Yeah. And I look at all these people wandering aimlessly of just trying to make connections and keep adding Facebook friends and LinkedIn and Instagram. And they're not doing anything with any of it. And I'm just kind of curious. I mean, you don't pay me to do this, but how many of you are intrigued enough about what I said to get serious about it? Have Jim make a professional video for you, and anybody that connects with you, you're going to send them a little 60-second video. Is there anybody that's going to do that? I'm just curious. Is that helpful advice to you?
I think it's fantastic.
I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, I hang around some really successful people, y'all. I'm just an average guy. I'm not a nobody, but I'm just, for me to get the vice president of the chamber to come to the meeting for y'all, I mean, I'm blown away by that. Because Tuesday at his event, I had 6 guests. And he's like, I got this meeting, and I'm sorry. I said, I know, your assistant called me, and I'm like, Mark, listen, if you can just come. He goes, I'll be there for you. I mean, that's huge, because he drove all the way from Egypt, like Blaine or wherever it was. To come here, right?
Hour long.
But I share that with you because Jim Rohn taught me when I was a young kid. I was 23 years old, and Jim Rohn said, rarely does a good idea interrupt you. And folks, there's going to be some great ideas that come out of this event. That are going to come out of this monthly mastermind. There's going to be some phenomenal ideas. And it's like a buffet. Not everybody's going to act on it. But I just felt called to say that about connecting. And how many of you get frustrated with the connections that people try to connect with you on social media? I'll just tell you right now. I think you should do it. Let's just do it right now. Instead of the partner pair up, I want everybody to just grab your phone. And there's two things. I want to show you something that is just crazy, crazy cool. It's just amazing. I want you to connect to your data, turn your data on, and turn your GPS locator on. And open LinkedIn. Open LinkedIn, turn your GPS data on, and make sure you're connected to the internet. Okay? And bless your heart if you have an iPhone. I don't know how to spell iPhone, but if you'll click on the little people icon on your screen for the Droid users, my people, it's on the bottom. For the iPhone people, Steve, where is that? The little people icon. The upper top on the right? Yes. Everybody with me? Who's not with me? I need to act fast. You have a Droid?
No, I'm on iPhone. I just have to.
Someone on iPhone, tell us where that is. The people icon. It's two little heads.
It's in the bottom.
It's down below.
Bottom of my network.
Oh, the people. Got it.
Okay, everybody click on that. Now there's a plus sign with the blue icon with one person. I thought it was brilliant. You're talking about giving out your cell phone number and edifying what Matt said. Everybody with me there?
So if we're on a droid, we're in trouble?
No, this is a droid. I'm trying to teach you, man. Come on.
Help me, help me, help me.
Phone Jim.
The two people and then the one person. Do y'all see it?
Yes.
It pops up.
Rachel.
All right. Now I want you to click that button.
Anthony.
And a screen's going to pop up that says Find Nearby. And it defaults to off. Are you with me?
Yeah.
I want you to turn that on. Who's not with me? I'm not going to call on you. I'm just curious. Could someone help? This is interactive. Get with the person next to you.
Oh, never mind.
Jim, can you show him that?
I had it before. I don't know where it's at. Yeah.
There you go.
Your LinkedIn.
So now you invite people.
Is everybody here?
Yeah.
Has anybody in the room populated on your screen?
Yes.
That you know?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Now watch this. I want to show you this.
And it's going to start popping.
So the people that are connected, they're going to be on the top. Keep scrolling down. The ones that are not connected with you, the ones that are connected with you, you're going to have a little envelope like you're going to send them a message. The ones that aren't connected with you, Rachel, are going to have it's a head, it's a person with a plus sign. I just want you to go through and hit plus with everybody in the room. Anthony, there you are.
Gosh, I'm connected with most of you.
Yeah.
Derek, there you are. Everybody following on. Is everybody on board with what we're doing right here?
Yes.
Yep.
Catherine, could you help her out?
I can't even get an internet.
Because this is big right here. I want to show you, like, this is big. And it's not about me. I'm just the conduit. Did everybody just connect with at least 3 to 5 to 10 people in the room?
Can you do it with the web based app?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You probably can.
Lacey, can you help her out with that? Just because I don't want her to miss that on. All right, so quick question. How many of you just connected with at least a handful of people in the room? Now, I need for you to follow through with what I said sometime after the meeting or now. Accept that invitation. And I want to share with you, I posted something on Facebook about...
Just grabbing people that aren't here. That's what's funny.
So I posted something on Facebook about 30 days ago on how you can follow the top 30 people that you think add value to your life on social media. And I just want to encourage you, connect with me on Facebook. That's a bigger platform for me. I don't take pictures of salads and cheesecake and stuff like that. Full transparency, Matt and Leland and I are snow skiers. For the next 4 months, you will see snow ski pictures of me. But other than that, 90% of what I post is business and professional related. Okay? Just to tell you that. But how many of you can get excited about just that little tip right there? And this is what I'm showing you right now. So like if you go to a networking event, if you go to an event and there's 4, 6, 8, 10 people, instead of exchanging business cards and doing all, like instantly in 90 seconds, Leland, you can connect with everybody right there in the group, but they all got to be on board. I got to learn the iPhone steps to do that. So that's just one tip, and I'll just share with you. I don't know how to follow the top 30 people on LinkedIn. She is a LinkedIn guru. Okay? That's like really important to connect with people who add value to your life and value to your social media content. Follow me on social media. I'm a big connector. If I see you post something, and thank you for your edification, by the way, that you shared publicly at the last meeting, but also on social media, that I make introductions on social media all the time. When I see people, like I did, Mark, when I introduced you to Jimmy, and Jimmy, I introduced you guys, Bill, to meet John Haney, who Matt invited, like it's called connecting the dots really fast. And I'm laser focused with that. I'm a fun guy. I have a good time in life. But I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to connections and introductions, that is my passion. And that is what David and I are going to explode this organization all across the globe. It's just, it's happening. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. That's just one tip. But so a couple of other thoughts that I want to kind of go to the next step. So the sign-in sheet make it all the way around?
Yep.
Kind of the one way that we grow organizations is, I know some of you do business in different cities. Leland and I are both from Johnson City originally. But Rebecca, she came to the first event, and she has entrepreneur resources. She was around a lot of thought leaders in a high level organization called EO, and we got connected on Facebook somehow, and we've been talking for upwards of 2 years now almost. And she came to this event, and she's starting a Blount County group, a trust integrity group in Blount County tomorrow. So I'm driving over there tomorrow, and we're doing a Blount County group. How many of you know someone in business in Blount County? So you just hold your hand up really high. Rebecca, look at make a mental connection there. Okay. What I'd like to ask you to do is I'm going to pass around this legal pad. Just kind of keep this quickly rotating. If you have connections in 3 areas, the first page is Blount County. I want you to write your name and your cell number. And Rebecca will be in touch with you just to invite them, whether it's for tomorrow or the January event. Then I want you to write your contact's name and profession. And if you can't think of the person's name, like, oh, who's that company with Hobbs and Associates, you know, if you, like he has a colleague, Bill has a colleague. You can't think of it. Don't hold the pad. We got to keep it rotating. Just jot down the company name, because she'll be in touch with you. And then the second page is the Tri-Cities, Chattanooga, and Nashville. How many of you have connections in any of those markets? Just raise your hand really high. Because that's going to be the next 3 cities that this organization's go to. Because it happened in 1994 when I started the entrepreneur group here. Chattanooga was 6 weeks later. Nashville was 10 weeks later. And the Tri-Cities was about 16 weeks later. And Leland's from the Tri-Cities, has massive connectivity there. So just pass this around real quick. And if you can't think of all that, just write your name and cell number, and then write the city of where you know people, and just, I'll be in touch with you. Leland will be in touch with you. Rebecca will be in touch with you. So I'll just kind of circulate that around. So the next part of our agenda is, Jim, remind me, we do need to, well, let me just do this now. Because January has 5 weeks the way it falls, and I'm just throwing this out there to y'all. This is just experience in the meeting business. I looked at the calendar yesterday. What's the date of the last Thursday of the month?
30.
January 30th? Okay. Because the holidays come up, and literally a lot of people take week and a half, 2 weeks off. School doesn't start till the 7th. A lot of people won't go back to work until the 6th. I mean, I'm not a member of your group, but I'm going to recommend that instead of meeting on the 9th, we meet the 16th. Because of that, there's not enough time for connections and things to happen right after the holidays. Are y'all open to that? Does that work for y'all? What's that?
I'm out of town.
You're out of town on the 16th?
Yeah, I'm out of town for this.
Guys, love
10
y'all.
days.
Wish all the success. Thank you, Dan.
Thanks.
Gotta go get on the bird.
He's hosting the meeting tomorrow, by the way, in his office. So,
why don't you do a raise of hands on the
I'm with you,
Derek 9th or 16th?
You're what?
I'm with you, Steve.
Oh, he's skiing and you're out of town. Get in touch with me, bro. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Okay, so let's just do it on the 9th. Let me just redact that comment that I just shared.
The 9th it is.
So let me share with you what I want to do for Jim the next meeting, because I don't want this to be lightly, but I'd like to just start the discussion today. This is the interactive business roundtable discussion, and let me kind of share with you the model of Trustegrity for 8 years has been. Hey, thank you. The model has been 90 minutes, but as David has gotten more involved, members didn't like the part that it was just rush for the mastermind topic discussion. So a lot of the groups have switched and transitioned to a 2-hour meeting. They're like, it's only once a month. We're there anyway. In fact, David started his first group in Atlanta 5 weeks ago. They said, we don't even want to talk about 90 minutes. Like, we're here. We're meeting. It's a 2-hour meeting.
Amen.
So I'm just throwing that. I'm just letting you know. I mean, literally on the call yesterday, he goes, "Okay, all the chairs across the country. I've been to 16 meetings. I got 15 different agendas in front of me. You know, because they're all doing a little bit of different there, and we're okay with that. We're not OCD militaristic about it, because we're learning from the players, like the guy that played football. We're learning from people that are running the teams. That's who we're learning from. But we're bringing major leadership to it, and they're eating it up. I mean, this organization has grown, y'all, to 8 states with no marketing at all. They didn't have a Facebook page. They didn't even have LinkedIn. 0 presence on the internet. Nada. None. There was a website that, I'll just be kind with my adjective, clunky. But David and his wife, a technology team, I arranged an introduction with the guy who's developed the #1 app called Networker, and they're flying to St. George, Utah today to have a 2-day board meeting with these high thought leader executives. And these are all people that I've connected with in 90 days. And we're considering doing some stuff with that. So, I mean, we're really taking it to the higher level. I don't know how to spell technology. That's his gift. That's not my gift. My gift is building. So I want to share that with you. But just for a piece of this, does maybe 1 or 2 of you just want to share what is the best piece of business advice you've ever been given, and how have you used it to either run or grow your business? Steve, could you just share your wisdom on that with everybody?
Set a goal, and then develop a plan to get there. Have mentors and advisors around you to help you with that, and then have people who hold you accountable.
Awesome. And y'all been running your business how long?
36 years.
And you don't know this, Steve, but I told Mark when he walked in, I said, I really wish you could just be on my shoulder when you hear me talk about you. And you're one of those people for me. When I mentioned Steve Suggs' name, Tim, I told you this years ago, you might recall. Steve is probably one of the most ethical, straightforward, not going to sugarcoat it to make you feel good, most successful people I know in the city. And the fact that he came because I called him and said, I'd like for you to come, that's really humbling for me. So he's in the room for y'all, and me because of our friendship and our relationship. That's what this organization is doing. It's attracting the first class Comfort Plus passengers. And I don't want that to go lightly. But Roger, could you share what's the best piece of business advice you've ever been given and how you've used it to either run or grow your business?
Sure. Raise your hand in the room if you've ever had a great idea, been to an event, got, I'm going to go do this. You were trained, you were coached, whatever it was, and you're going to go through the wall and you're going to do it. Anybody been there? And keep your hand up if you didn't follow through. Okay? There's a principle that I learned a long time ago that we can die on the vine if we focus on the how. Okay? Because if you get a great idea or you know you need to go do something, then you start thinking about how I've got to do it and all the obstacles and challenges that are going to come in your way. And a lot of times you'll die on the vine without even taking the very first step. Have you ever experienced that? Yes or no? Okay, so I choose, and I've learned to focus on the why. Why do I want to accomplish this? Why is that an outcome that I want for my life? And I'm not talking about the superficial why of because it'll make me look good or I'll be successful or whatever else. I'm talking about going deep, 7 or 8 layers deep in the reason why you want to do something, which is down to, I don't want to lose my home. I don't want to see my kids suffer. I don't want to be divorced from my wife. The kind of why that gets you down in your gut, that you feel in your heart. And that's the kind of momentum that you can get to pull you to something so you don't have to drive and push yourself to something. That kind of why will pull you to your goals and your dreams.
Share with everybody just 30 seconds about your involvement with Tony and all that.
Okay, so Tony Robbins is a mentor of mine. I've never met the man, but I'm on a call with him on the 16th of this month, which I'm super pumped about. But for probably 20 years, honestly, 20 years, I wanted to be at an event, a Tony Robbins event, whatever, and for 20 years, I let the how stop me from doing that. So a little over a year and a half ago, I went to my very first Tony Robbins event, Unleash the Power Within. That's the one that you go to on the very first night. You're walking across 20 feet of hot coals, barefooted, no less. And you do so gladly, and you feel zero pain. In fact, it actually feels pretty great. But that process has been life-changing for me because at that point in time in this business, and really in my life in general, I kind of ran out of gas. Kind of ran out of steam. You know, I've led a team here, mortgage professionals, for 25 years, and you know, you can only do so many meetings and regurgitate the same information over and over and over. So I needed to go fill my bucket back up. So that's what I've been doing, and it's unmatched training. It's not motivation. Motivation can only come from within yourself. But there's life skills and there's life principles that are so simple that you just like one I just shared with you is very, very simple, but it's life changing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So a lot of different professions in the room. Let me share with you one mistake that people make in the business world of connectivity and networking. Unfortunately, we look at people and what they do, not who they know, and the skills and experience and advice they have. Would y'all agree with that? Absolutely. See, we prejudge. We live in a prejudging society that, see, I'm in the health business, right? I sell a nutritional product. I've been doing it for 30 years. I was the 7th youngest top producer in the history of the company when I was 22 years old. I happen to know a few people. I have 5,800 contacts in my phone, and my phone is a sacred place. Not everybody gets in my phone. In fact, a lot of people don't get in my phone. Most of my social media contacts are not in my phone because my phone's been around way longer than social media. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because people look at other people with what they do, not who they know and the value they can add. And I'm sharing with you that my profession is not a fit for TrustEgrity. But my experience and my connectivity and my ability to bring thought leaders together, that's what makes me a fit for TrustEgrity. And it's a blessing because it's a vehicle to get you to your next level. And I recently learned something. How many of you have ever heard of the Gestalt theory before? A Clydesdale can pull Deadpool 9,000 pounds. The big horses, the Clydesdale, can dead pull 9,000 pounds by itself, which would lead one to believe that two of them harnessed together could dead pull 18,000 pounds. In reality, when the two horses are yoked together, they can pull 36,000 pounds. The second horse sees the other pulling vigorously, and then the first horse begins to pull harder. Then the reciprocal happens with the second horse. That is why they can pull 36,000 pounds when nature says they should only be able to pull 9,000 pounds individually or 18,000 pounds together. I've been around business a long time. I just learned that a year and a half ago. When you think you know something, you don't really know anything. But what I do know about that analogy is solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. It goes back to that gentleman that does sales coaching. He's missed that connectivity because he's on his own. And I'm just kind of curious, it's not for me, but how many of you, when you walked through that door this morning, you could just feel the buzz and feel the energy, and you just kind of got a little excited about that? Did anybody get excited about that? Yeah. You know what Mark said before I said, hey, we need to get seats? He goes, Dan, you've got some players in this room. You've got some influential people in this room. I said, Mark, when it's showtime and it's time to build, I don't play lightly. I don't just invite everybody. And I want you to know that that's what it's about. This isn't let me invite 20 and hope 8 show up. This is invite 4 and all 4 show up, with the exception of the text I got from my banker, another banker that was driving an hour, and she said, my mom had a stroke, I'm on the way to the hospital. She sent me a text at 4:35 this morning. I was awake. That's the caliber of people that are attracted to a group like this. So I just wanted to kind of share that with you.
Dan, can I share a little story of best advice?
Yeah.
Is that okay? First, I didn't know who was going to be here when Jim invited me. But I have to say to everyone, as I got here and looked around the room, it occurred to me, here the name of this thing is Trustegrity, and I got to tell you, I was like, what the hell, you know, what kind of name is that, and so on and so forth. There were 7 people in this room that I have trusted in different aspects of my entire life. And so I just found that profound, that the name Trust. So Trust, I mean, I haven't been excited about a group in such a long time, but for whatever reason I felt compelled, even enough to interrupt Dan to tell you this story, because it's the one story that has stuck with me most, that I think may be of help for some of you today. So one of the clients I worked with here in town, CTI Molecular Imaging, well, the client there, his name was Ron Nutt. He was the Nobel Prize candidate for the Prize for Science in 2003. We had improved the value of the company by $1.4 billion, and it just sold the company on May the 3rd to the rest of the company to Siemens. Ron and I went out to lunch that day, just he and I at Ruby Tuesdays, and that morning I said, so what was it like in the conference room at the closing and all that? What was it like? He said, I was just like, you know, and it's the conference room just like this, and I said, so you got to tell me how much, you know, how much? And he said, well, it was about $72 million. And he acted like he didn't care, you know, and I said, so what was it like to get $72 million? He said, well, I said, was it electronic transfer? Was it, you know, how it, he said, no, it was an actual check. He said, it was an actual physical check, because that's just the way it goes down in closing. It had to be a physical check, and I was like, wow. And he said, Rob, let me tell you something. He said, in the United States, if you work hard enough, anybody can make money. He said, after the first $3 million, it really doesn't matter anymore. He said, the difference is are you doing something in your life to serve mankind? He said, my hope for you is that instead of trying to build a $1 billion company in 3 years, that you can just, you know, make a decision as to what you're going to do with the next 20 years of your life to serve mankind. Because I have never met someone that had an opportunity to impact people's lives like you. And that was all nice and this and that, and it didn't really sink in at the time, but I thought it was fascinating. The second thing, Dan, that I asked was, So how'd you do it? Like, how do you take a company in 20 years that out of bankruptcy to a $1.7 billion company? He didn't roll his eyes, but he said, first of all, I've never done anything in my life worth doing by myself. He said, any deal I've ever done in my whole life has always been with at least 2 other people, period. So I just thought, as I thought about this group, who are the 2 other people in this room that are going to change the direction of your life and your business? Because it's not going to happen without it. It's just not.
Sound advice, and Rob has a successful company, so thank you for your wisdom there. I'd like to ask Daniel Head and Matt and Sarai, I'd like to ask you all to share, just take a quick moment and share, why did you all decide to plug into this? Why are you part of this group? Daniel, why don't you go first?
That's interesting. I was moving out of the networking group because I was getting tired of the weekly meetings, reached some level of success, and it was, I felt I was too busy. And I said, well, I felt you're just too busy to, and one of the things, you were sharing, Roger, some of the great things that we learned. One of the things that I would share is that so often the best things that we learn are things that we already know that we forget to use them.
Yeah.
And boy, that really resonates with me. And so I started looking at revitalizing my goals, getting a little bit more excited about life. Some of you know that I've been involved in a lot of other businesses. So one of the things that I look so forward to this group is that you guys are a wealth of knowledge. And I've used owning and starting other businesses as a great resource to meet new people, and particularly when you're starting multi-million-dollar type businesses, you meet people who are investors. And we're launching another business right now that actually is scaring the heck out of me. I really need a lot of help. And so I look forward to what the knowledge base is here in this group. But, there's so many great things of, what you just said, Rob, too. It's you don't do it on your own, walking hand in hand with people. I know that my whole career has been evidenced by really great people knowing. It's neat with our relationship with Dan. We all know he's got a little bit of an infectious personality. Well, he was a neighbor about 4 houses away from me, so I didn't have a choice. I was just going to bully it into me. But it's been a great journey with you, in many ways, business and personal. And I look forward to just working with you all. And where I can help, I want to help. And I know that you guys can be a wealth of knowledge to me.
Awesome. Matt? Tell everybody one reason why you decided to plug in.
Well, besides the weekly meeting thing, that's huge. To reiterate a lot what Dan said, I did the BNI for a little while, and I'm not hacking on BNI, but made some good connections on it. But it was a constant stress to try to connect once a week, and I really wanted a better caliber people. My time is valuable, your time is very valuable, and I'll respect your time, respect mine. But I want to connect with people on a higher level that want to be successful. And it seemed like there it was more of, okay, let's pass out some business cards, let's forcefully give some names and numbers. And I don't want that. I like the fact that we don't pass out business cards. We're not forced to give referrals. It's an actual connection with someone. And I think that's what it's really all about. And it's people you trust. Coincides with the name. And it's respectful of my time as well.
That's right. I want the last one.
Well, I'm part of another mastermind that, with photographers that are like me with a boutique type business around the world, and it's helped me take my business to the next level. But to be able to experience something like that in this community at the local level, I think it was needed. And the fact that we don't meet weekly, it's a plus.
So I totally dropped the ball. I'm watching the clock. I know we're going to end. But what's going to happen with the sign-in sheet is part of our structure is we do something called a reconnect. And the reconnect, so if you take the model as 20 people in the group, there's 5 groups that will split in between the monthly meetings. We like to include 1 guest and 3 members in the group, 4 people in the reconnect. Other than that, it's just too big. It's very structured in the agenda. Jim will know how to present that. Someone will be assigned with that sign-in sheet. And we have reconnects that will happen outside of the meeting. You'll meet at someone's business and you dive deeper into those relationships. It's called a reconnect. How many of you like that idea? Yeah. See, that's what solidifies the relationship. It's not you know, I'm not meeting with people one-on-one, so to speak. I'm meeting in a smaller group, to your point, Rob, right there, a smaller group, but it's large enough with 4 people that you can dive deeper. For 8 years, there's been no structure to that agenda. What do you think David and I are bringing to that agenda?
I'd just like to say real quick that I went to a Reconnect group last week on a smaller scale, and it was a fantastic meeting. I really got to connect with some of the people in the room and hear their stories and learn about them. We drank some wine, we mingled, we had a great time. So I really encourage you to look into those Reconnect groups.
And that will be part of the structure that will happen in our agenda. Like it's a quick 3 minutes before the end of the meeting. You know, people wanted to kind of share a little bit here. We just didn't expect 30 people to come to our event today. So that will happen. The last thing I want to do is I want to share this with you, and then I want to take a quick picture for social media before we leave. It's called Decide to Connect. Decide to Connect. And this is what I want to leave with you to think about. Decide to connect. Use every letter you write, every email you send, every text you respond to, every meeting you attend to express your fundamental beliefs and dreams, affirm to others the vision of the world that you want. Connect through thought, connect through action, connect through love, connect through spirit. You're the center of the world. You are a free, immensely powerful source of life and goodness. Affirm it, spread it, and radiate it. Think day and night about it, and you'll see a miracle happen. I woke up at 3:40 today, so excited about who was going to be here, and I didn't even know some of the people that were coming. When you decide to connect, that's what happens to you. When you become a connector, that's what happens. In a world of big powers, loud social media, monopolies, but of 6 billion individuals, connecting is the new freedom, the new democracy, a new form of happiness. How many of you are going to make a decision to decide to connect? And when you make that decision, you're making intentional connections. So for those of you that have an interest in applying for membership, it's real simple. There's no paper. We will text you a link with the application. The only rule is you're asked to attend 9 out of 12 meetings. The investment to be part of it. The investment is $98 a month. You pay on a monthly basis, and there is a discount. I think 1 or 2 people in the core group took advantage of this. If you pay in advance for a year, it's $980, so you save a couple $100 if you choose to do that. But I can tell you this right now, just because it's a new group, it's going to be here 20 years. I'm going to tell you that right now. Publicly, that's on record, because it's been around 8. It will be all across the U.S. in the next 5 to 7 years, because David and I are involved. No question about it. So if you have an office, if you have a client, if you know a family member in a different city, tell them about this. Stoke curiosity on social media. And that's really it. One thing that will happen within the group that I haven't mentioned is multiple professions from the same industry. Every group I went to had at least 1 attorney. 3 of the 5 had 2 attorneys, and one of the 5 had 3 attorneys. So it's not really industry specific. There's different financial people that do different things. We have a commercial insurance person who's part of it. He's unfortunately not here today. But just to let you know, that is kind of the flow of how it works. So connect, confide, collaborate. Okay? Has this been a productive use of your time today?
Absolutely.
I don't know about you, but I'm so excited about what this group's going to do. And we're starting Blount County tomorrow, and there's a big launch in Salt Lake City, Utah next Tuesday. David got so excited, the number of people registered for that. He decided at 11 o'clock last night he's flying to Utah to come to the event. He's like, oh my gosh. And so I'm excited that you came. Is there any no-shows that we had? Guests, and I may be invited a guest that didn't show up. Please follow up with them and invite them for the January meeting. It is an exclusive membership committee, so it's invitation only. We would ask that you send them the link to register. We don't like people to just show up because we have a nice printed agenda for everybody at the table. Roger, thank you for your hospitality today.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
I know we're just a quick moment over, but I have to end with this. I'd like for two guests, if you're a guest, I'd like for you just to share what was the best part of the meeting for you today. First time here, what was the best part of the meeting? Steve?
One was seeing all of the, me included, old guys that I haven't seen in a while.
Seasoned.
Wise.
Who you calling old, Steve?
Experience, Steve. I thought you were retired.
I am tired. The other part too is seeing how much I need this. I spend 8 hours a day on the phone talking to people across the country, and I need to get out of the house and get connected. And I've got a couple of cards here, some of the services I need.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. And we go through that. I've been through that for a couple of years. Like, oh, I'm good, I can meet people, but I've missed, Rob, I've missed that connectivity, right? I've missed the Clydesdale. One other guest, first time guest, what impressed you most about the group? You want to share?
I can. The passion about business, the passion about the environment you're in, the industry you're in, and the need to connect and bring that passion to everyone else. That was exciting to me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming. So, in closing, I have been asked this question 3 times before the meeting started today. Will there be other groups? The model of this is not how many groups can we have and how big can we get the groups. That's not the model. But I can tell you in this city, in the next 2 years, there will probably be 6 to 7 groups with no more than 20 to 25 people. Just because it will happen. There's several of you that overlap in different professions. Leland is the mayor of the Tri-Cities almost. I mean, he knows everybody. He knows hundreds and hundreds of doctors. He was in medical sales and retired from that. So he was at my house yesterday, and I'm like, it's 3:30. I'm like, hey man, you want to come to this event tomorrow? That's the kind of relationship people that I want to connect with. And so we talked about opening this up in Tri-Cities.